This time on KEI Fabrication. Alright folks, so let me explain. What you do for your grandkids, right? Hurry up! We're gonna go all the way down. Getting ready to go on another little reconnaissance mission. Nice. Hey folks, my name is Mike. This is KEI Fabrication and welcome to my shop. We've got a bunch more new projects in the queue. We're looking forward to meeting more of you, and for those of you who've been with the channel for a while, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your comments and the interaction and encouragement. Hopefully through this project we've gained some credibility with you folks, and let's see what's coming up next. Alright folks, it's been 2 weeks to the day since I cut the back of the camper off. The project is completely done. So I'm going to go wash the camper, load the motorcycle, and we're about 48 hours, 46 hours away from leaving. Well, there it is. It fits just nice. Plenty of room on either side. Plenty of room between the tailgate and the end of the carry rack. You can still walk around the bike. You can still access the drawers. I'm liking it. Alright folks, this is still the Maiden Voyage for our toy hauler conversion. Just in case you're wondering why I didn't post a video in like a month, I'll go into more detail later. This is just a quick snapshot. I'm wondering if you folks can take a guess at where I am. Yes, I am parked out in the middle of a farmer's hayfield, but it is located in a pretty cool place. So, my wife and I just finished eating lunch out on our impromptu patio, and this just happens to be at the location of a no prep event at National Trails Raceway, and this is the uncaged event. So the starting line, this is a reverse run track. The starting line is starting from the shutdown area and racing towards the traditional finish line. So the starting line is only a couple hundred feet ahead of the sand pit. Right now all those tents up there are the RC car drag racing. There's a big event going on for that before the streetcar racing takes place. And we are camped right across from the finish line. The finish line is right in front of the, or right behind the red car. So we pulled the camper right into the field, backed up, set the gate down, and here we are. So I have to say, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for watching Billy the Kid Street Racing Channel video, and he announced that their next event was going to be at National Trails, and it was today. We were an hour and 30 minutes north of here, and we decided, because we were done with our tour of Berlin, Ohio and hanging out with the Amish, that we'd come down. And guess what? Billy the Kid is right there. We followed him through the gate. When we signed in, I signed in right under his name. My wife has a picture of both of those things, so just kind of cool. So where we're parked, again, as I said, is just adjacent to the Speedway and the racetrack, and we're right across from the finish line, maybe just 100 feet before the finish, and this is the return road. So just sitting here eating lunch, we're seeing all the YouTube famous cars go by, and saying hi to folks, and just really enjoying it. It's kind of thrilled to be here. This is the first event ever that I've been to that is basically filled with all of the YouTubers that I follow, so, or a lot of them. So it's kind of cool seeing folks here. And you know, this is like going to a place where you see a bunch of movie stars, right? Even better, because movie stars are actors. These folks aren't actors. These are hard-working racers that are here trying to show that they have what it takes to compete, and that's something I really appreciate. So we've made our way all across from New Hampshire through Vermont into New York, Pennsylvania, down into Ohio, and now we're in southern Ohio, and we've had just a wonderful time. Full spectrum of things that we've been taking in, everything from Lake George, Ticonderoga, Randolph, Ohio, hanging out with the Amish up there, checking out their skills and their craftsmanship. Went to 4 dirt tracks so far. We actually went to 5. One of them got rained out. I'll elaborate on that in another video. So this is where we landed, and just a real blessing to be here. And I've got a wonderful wife that was game for all of this. This is her first experience with any of this as well, so we're just going to sit back and enjoy the show. So I'm about to unload the motorcycle out of the back of the toy hauler, so we actually can sit in the shade in there. So alright, we're going to do that. Alright, we're all loaded up, ready to go, leaving National Trails Raceway. We got rained out last night right at the first couple of rounds of big tire. Just doing the walk around here. There's the front end of the track. Kind of feel like Clark W. Griswold, right? First ones here park way out in the back, so you'd be have the easiest way to leave. Alright, well, it was fun. I got to watch all of first round of small tire and part of the first round of big tire. Stick shift never got to run. And I'm just doing the walk around here to make sure I haven't forgot anything, picked up everything. And we're ready to head out. So, good time here, met some good people. And we look forward to the next place that we're headed. Alright folks, we're at another campsite, and that's the view right off our back door basically. And right down there is the Clinton County Fair Speedway. So we're here for a 2-day event. We've got big payouts on Friday night and Saturday night. We found this place totally by accident, and the facility lets you camp on site because it's at a fairgrounds. It's fully equipped. So we're going to spend a couple days here. So far we're at 3,000 plus miles on the rig, and everything is working out great. We're having a good time. We'll see you when we get home sometime. Still at Clinton County Fairgrounds Speedway. Got an Amish antique and horse and small animal auction going on here. We're camped right over there, and the pits aren't open yet, so this gang is doing some maintenance on their sprint car right over here. just pulled in the driveway. So that was 3,400 miles on this rig. Focus, focus. Anyway, you can definitely tell we're in Amish country. That's poop from the buggies and the horses going down the road. So, I have to say, the toy hauler conversion worked absolutely flawlessly. The bike traveled in here all 3,400 miles. The last 2 days we rode another 120 some miles in the Catskills in upstate New York. That was some of the best riding we've had on this trip, but we put a total of over 700 miles on the bike, riding through farmlands and the countryside in Ohio, New York, and Pennsylvania. So tons of fun, great trip, and we're actually a little disappointed to be back home, but reality always has its way of setting in. So just giving you a quick update on how we made out. The toy hauler conversion project was absolutely the best thing. Had so many benefits that hopefully I'll be able to show you in the video series about this conversion. And I'd highly recommend doing this. If you're on a budget, go buy an older camper with a layout that'll work for you, and with a little bit of sweat equity you can make yourself a really inexpensive toy hauler. This thing towed like a dream. Coming home today on the highway, I hit a transition from to a bridge, and I think all four wheels of the tow vehicle and the trailer came off the ground, and this thing, you'd never know it. So thing handled like a sports car behind the truck. We went through thousands of miles of county roads through farmlands, mountainous terrain, and it just handled well. 70 miles an hour on the highway where it was allowed, cruising at 65, the thing was rock solid. So just absolutely thrilled. So stay tuned. While I'm disassembling this engine, I figured I'd use this opportunity just to chat with you folks about the toy hauler conversion. Hopefully you folks enjoyed that series. I didn't get a lot of views. However, I figure sometime maybe somebody will share it and it'll make it there. But one of the things you all might be wondering is, how much did that whole project cost? Well, one of the things that we did was we had, first of all, we had to buy a camper. And we did a fair amount of research on what layout is available to do the toy hauler conversion. Because, let's face it, that's what we really wanted to do. So as it turned out, sure enough, on Craigslist, a 2006 Sunline showed up. That was a rear bedroom, and that was critical in being able to do what we did, and for the reasons that I communicated in the first video. So we found it. We ended up paying $1,400 for it. In my opinion, we really got a super deal. However, as I said in the video, it did have some water damage in the back corners and the roof that we noticed. So what we did was we made an offer, and the gentleman was very happy with the offer, and we ended up buying it for $1,400. The immediate thing we did once we got it home is I bought Load Range E tires for it, and believe it or not, they sell them on eBay pretty reasonable, and I got all four of them shipped to the house for $200. So that's where that price came from. So we bought the tires, I had them installed, and we bought it at the very end of the season, and we put the tires on, and we actually did a couple of quick camping trips with it locally, just to kind of shake down the camper and make sure all the systems worked well. So we did that, and then we had to put it away. Now our intention was to travel in 2020. And obviously the pandemic came and made a mess of everything, so we were kind of stuck at home. So the project kind of got put on hold. However, what I did do was I needed to find either the hardware or a used ramp door to install in the back of the camper. And while I was searching around, I actually, on eBay, stumbled across a wholesaler, and that's what they sold, was either discontinued product or, you know, blems of ramp doors for RVs. And it ended up being the exact size that I needed. As you saw in the video, I installed a door that was 55 inches wide and 75 inches tall, and that worked beautifully for where I cut out the rear of the camper. Now that was the critical deciding factor on whether we would actually attempt the toy hauler conversion. Once I realized that they sold them, I kind of got excited about it and I moved the plan forward. However, finding a way to get it from Adrian, Michigan out here to Rhode Island was a little bit tricky. I actually contemplated driving out there and trying to coordinate my own trip through U-Ship and maybe bring back several of them, or at least to get some closer to the East Coast. It was such a good deal on the doors that I actually thought it might be worthwhile just buying a bunch of them and bring them back. That's kind of how I operate. If I'm going to do something, I try to subsidize it in any way I can, and at the same time make something that's unattainable for other people, get it closer to home. So anyway, I didn't have to do that. I was literally contemplating and putting together a trip together, spending the money on the fuel, going out there and getting it, hopefully subsidizing the trip somehow. Didn't have to do that. I actually found exactly what I was looking for. Somebody that had a van or a pickup truck that could slide this thing in and was just looking for either some extra money on a partial load to make it worth the trip out here, or just somebody looking to make gas money to get out here. And that's what I found. So the total price of the door was $250. Now I did get a discount. The asking price was $350, but because the door had a real minor blem in it, or a little tiny spot about the size of a dime that was damaged, the gentleman said, "Hey, I thought it was in better shape. I'll knock $100 off. Are you still interested?" And I said, "Sure, I can take care of that." So it cost me $250 to purchase the door and $150 to get it out here. So the total investment in the door itself was $400, and that is way cheaper than I could have purchased the aluminum, the sheets, and the hinge, and a torsion spring, and the locks. Would have been way, way, way above that cost. So that really turned the switch on, as I mentioned in the video, and that made this all possible. That's good. There were 3 that were broken on this side on the head before I got the engine, and I just broke one up here trying to get it out. So I think I might have gotten 2 out of 7. Where did I leave off? Alright, so I told you how much we paid for the door, how much we paid to ship it out here. Another major expense was the steel to make the structure that you saw in the video to go on the back of the camper. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe it was like $258 for the steel to make the framework to go around the back of the door. That one's going to be tough. It's broken off well below the head. So, as I saw in the video, I really wanted to make sure that the back of the camper was super strong, because we're going to be asking it to do some things that were more than what the original camper was designed for back there. So, you saw how I built it, you saw why I built it. So, the other thing that we had to do was replace some of the floor and some of the timbers in the walls to get the water damage fixed, as you saw. I spent in lumber alone, I don't remember what I put in there for a number, but I'll point to it. And the other thing I needed to do because of the water damage was I needed to put materials back in that were protected to prevent the water damage from happening again. And I went through a lot of epoxy. I bought 2 epoxy kits, Total Bolt penetrating epoxy. I used that so it would go into the wood, and I spent at least $200 in the epoxy. It was, you know, peace of mind, insurance. You know, who knows? Campers leak all the time. They get dragged down the road. They flex. The seals crack. And a lot of times you don't realize it until it's too late. The water has gone in and done its damage. So I really wanted to prevent that from being an issue again. So between the plywood, the 2x3s, that's all 2x3 construction, you know, that's what the total came to in the video. The other thing that I had to spend money on was hardware. So all the screws to hold the things down, and that hardware also included the gasketing for the doors and basically the seals that go around the doors. I bought gutters for the water to not run directly down onto the opening and the trim around the opening. So that's where that came from, and that's why it sounds like it's a lot of money. And that also includes the D-rings. The D-rings weren't terribly expensive. Those alone were like $40 for the set of 4, so that was a pretty good deal. And by the way, they work fantastic. So what else we got? The trim around the door and the aluminum and all that stuff, that was kind of expensive because I didn't buy it in a good way. I bought it from an Ace hardware store, and you pay a lot of money for it, but it's super convenient. So I was able to run down and get what I needed same day. So that was okay. Trying to think of what else I put on the list because I don't have it in front of me. I think I covered most of it. Anyway, the total investment between the camper and the cost of getting everything and putting it in. Oh, the flooring. The flooring was a little pricey. As you see, it was a good chunk of change. However, it seems to be working really well. The motorcycle rode in the back all that time, and it really didn't seem to even bother it at all. The tire left a little tiny, it's more of a stain than the than any other thing to talk about, really. It really wasn't an issue at all in terms of the tire chafing and ruining the floor and all that other sort of thing. It really didn't matter. So I'm very happy with it. It's fairly comfortable when you walk on it, even though it has a diamond plate pattern. Most of the time when the bed was in position, we just put carpet runners down right when we set the bed up. So it was really not an issue. And the other thing I bought was the 1.5 inch thick styrofoam insulation, so that added a few bucks. However, I would have never put wool back into the camper just because, as I showed in the video, that acts as a sponge, and next thing you know, you've got water damage happening. Instead of just for a few days until it dries out, it's happening until you physically see the water damage, remove that wool bat that's a sponge that's just full of water, and then recover from the damage that it gave. So I replaced, as you saw, I think I ended up buying 2 sheets of the 1.5 inch, put it in the floor and in the rear wall where the door was not, right? There was a little 18-inch strip on either side of the door. So that's where it got with the $31.53, I think was the number. So less than $3,500 we had a toy hauler. And I know that the camper is in excellent shape now, and it's presentable. It goes down the road super well, and the concept is proven. So what I'm really trying to say is, I think I saved thousands and thousands of dollars. I have a unit that fits behind my truck well. The truck isn't working or overworking. We wanted to have a quick, impromptu, easy to respond, to jump out and go somewhere, so we don't have this big giant 35 foot unit that weighs twice of what this unit weighs. And I have the additional functionality with the toy hauler option now, and as you saw, it actually works as a really neat back deck or patio, as a lot of the toy haulers have cables and everything to hold the door parallel with the floor in the camper, so you can utilize it for more than just a ramp. That's kind of neat. We had fun with it. So I think the resale value of the camper now is probably in the $7,000 to $9,000 range. And if anybody has, you know, like a single motorcycle that they want to haul around, a dirt bike, a four-wheeler will fit in the back of that. As you saw, the go-kart, the 2-seater go-kart fit in there with plenty of room to spare. And the weight distribution, it seemed as though with the changes we made and repositioning things, it worked out fantastic. Never, ever, ever did the camper feel like it was out of control or unstable, even with tractor trailers passing you or on a windy day moving it around. It was not dancing around behind the truck whatsoever. And I do not have a friction sway control on it. I only have load distribution bars. So I'm very, very pleased with the performance. So you know the cost, you know the functionality we gained out of it. I hopefully portrayed how well it worked. If it's something you would consider, I hope these videos are helpful, helping you make the decision-making process, where to get stuff, and you know what to look for a layout. So I hope you enjoyed the series. I had a good time building it. I had even more fun actually using it. More and more recently, my projects have become really good, functional, and usable and rewarding projects. A lot of times we do things just to get things done, as a temporary thing to get us over a hurdle, or just a quick use to have some fun, and then you know, the project goes to the wayside because it either self-destructs or its useful purpose is long since gone. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to get back to ripping down this motor because I've got to have it to the engine builder tonight. Alright folks, that's it for this time. Remember, if you can't be good, be spectacular.